together. Think not of failing, carry on, and the road goes on forever. Let all the tears and strife be gone, and we'll walk the road together. All the way through wind and rain, I'll never deceive my heart again. Hand in hand across the land, we'll walk the road together.
Think not of stopping in the stride when the road goes on forever. Let joy and happiness be right, and we'll walk the road together. All the way through wind and rain, I'll never deceive my heart again. Hand in hand across the land, we'll walk the road together.
Think not of hills and mountains high, when the road goes on forever. We'll lift our hearts unto the sky as we walk the road together. All the way through wind and rain, I'll never deceive my heart again. Hand in hand across the land, we'll walk the road together. We'll walk the road together. Let's walk this road together.
Hello, everyone. Please know that whoever you love, wherever you are on your personal journey of faith or search for meaning, you are truly welcome. If you are visiting or connecting for the first time, we are grateful to have you with us. We come together in beloved community to grow in wisdom, to welcome and deepen relationships, to act for a just and sustainable world. I am Conrad Ayasi, and I have the privilege of serving on your board of trustees. Given the present circumstances, there is no special table that guests can go to have a discussion with an informative board member who could answer your questions. However, you are cordially invited to join our coffee time discussions after the service by clicking on the link that will appear on your screen. We would love to meet you there. We acknowledge that this meeting takes place on the traditional territories of the people of the Blackfoot Confederacy, comprising the Siksika, Piikani, Kainai First Nations, as well as the Tsuut'ina and Stoney Nakoda, including Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Wesley First Nations of the Treaty 7 region of Southern Alberta. The City of Calgary is also open to Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3. We acknowledge that we are all treaty people. And now, over to Reverend Deborah for the chalice lighting.
Good morning. Our community knows no boundaries. We are not confined by physical limits of walls, or for that matter, of what often binds us, restricts us, or holds us back. We are freer than we know when we release ourselves and each other from expectations of what is needed for true community. We are here together in this virtual space. I know you are there. I can sense your presence. I love you. And I light this chalice, a beacon of this community, holding us all together here and now. Oh, it is so good to be together this morning as we settle into our extended virtual time together. This is such a challenge in so many ways, and yet there are new possibilities arising as a consequence. We live in the tension of the struggle and the possibility. We come with hopes and expectations. Let us go now, please, to Mariana Louise and Lynn Nugent.
It is a house of friendships, a haven in trouble, an open room for the encouragement of our struggle.
It is a house of freedom, guarding the dignity and worth of every person.
It offers a platform for the free voice, for declaring, both in times of security and danger, the full and undivided conflict of opinion.
It is a house of truth-seeking, where scientists can encourage devotion to their quest, where mystics can abide in a community of searchers.
It is a house of art, adorning its celebrations with melodies and handiworks.
It is a house of prophecy, outrunning times past and times present in visions of growth and progress.
This house is a cradle for our dreams, the workshop of our common endeavor. And now back to Reverend Deborah.
It is also a house where we will make oopses and forgive each other. I am ever hopeful of that. So this has been a challenge in so many ways, as I have said, and yet there are new possibilities and consequences. We live in the tension of the struggle and the possibility. We come with hopes and expectations. We come together for all that our opening words have suggested. The importance of connection is magnified these days as we do so with so many limitations. We all long for being able to make plans beyond tomorrow and are called as never before to live in the moment, to find hope and comfort in the now. All that being said, we also have expectations beyond now, beyond today, tomorrow, and next week. This morning, the intention is that we will share some of the hopes and possibilities and expectations for this community this year. There is repeated expression of the importance of community and especially spiritual community during these times. We need one another, each of us offering what we can to support, to comfort, to build new ways of being together. And one of the ways we do this is through music. So now a few words from our Director of Music, Jane Perry.
Good morning, friends. It's good to be together again in this Zoom environment. So here we are at the cusp of a new church year with our expectations, adventures in front of us, new activities, and not a few unknowns. A journey like this is friendlier when taken together. Let's sing together. Come and go with me to that land.
Good morning, everyone. It's lovely to see you for a new church year, and I'm very excited about everything we have going on. Today, we have the elementary at 1 p.m. on Zoom, and they're going to have a chance to have their say. We're going to be working on our covenant and talking about our hopes and dreams for the year. And if you have our CURE, Children and Youth Religious Education newsletter, we have some great coloring pages in there that we can use to plan out our coming year. If you don't get the CURE newsletter, just email me at dre@calgaryunitarians.ca and I'll hook you up. The youth at 2 p.m., we have a great class for them too on Zoom. It's called Being Called Out and How to Apologize, which is a super important thing to know. We're also going to be doing for the coming year, first Sundays are going to be something called Popcorn Theology, where we watch a movie and then we have a discussion with a social justice intent. And then second Sundays, we're doing Chorus of Faiths. Third Sundays, we're going to be trying to do a Western Canada, so Edmonton and Saskatchewan and Winnipeg super youth group coming together. So we've been doing a lot of coordination there. And then the fourth Sunday, we're doing religions, coordinating with the Sunday service. So we're going to go more in depth with the youth. So I'm very excited. And if you're thinking to yourself, that popcorn theology sounds really good. Isn't the youth lucky? You too are lucky because I'm hosting a popcorn theology for young adults and adults in coordination with adult RE coordinator Heather Walker. And we're going to be hosting that on the third Friday of every month, starting in October. And Jane Perry came up with a great name called CU Fridays, Calgary Unitarians, CU Fridays. So we've got lots of events coming up on our Fridays. So if you want to join in popcorn theology, first class is in October. Third Friday, we're going to be doing our covenanting, and then starting November, we're going to be starting our watching our movie and discussion afterwards. So I'm super excited. I hope all of you at home are super excited. And now to Reverend Deborah for our centering time.
I hope you're catching some of the enthusiasm that our staff have for this year. For now, I'd like to invite us into a time of inward reflection. I will offer some words, there will be a brief silence, and then Jane will offer a musical response. I invite you to settle in and to breathe deeply and offer this lovely prayer from my dear colleague, Tess Bomberger. A prayer for the stressed and weary, which we all are to some degree. For all among us who are fearful, angry, irritable, resentful, stressed, anxious, worried, or weary, we pray. Spirit of life and love, as we breathe in deeply together, may your kind air fill the hard places within. And as we breathe out slowly, may those places soften and widen. As we inhale gently once more, may peaceful oxygen untangle the tangled places, loosening any knots we find in our muscles, stomachs, and hearts, so that when we release our breaths, we let go of all stress and tension. If tears are there, let them come. This is a place where we can fall apart and know that others will hold us gently as we put ourselves together once more. As we mingle our breaths in our own safe and sacred places, may our fears disperse. May anything within us that may beckon conflict now take flight. May our frayed nerves knit together once more. May we realize that worry wastes both creative energy. May we instead put that power to better, more positive uses. O source that flows through all things, open the closed places within us now. Remove all impediments to love and calm, that you may flow serenely through us. May we dance in the current of your grace, to the music and rhythm of our hearts. Let us take a moment now to tend the sacred bonds that bind our lives to one another. Those relationships that are the foundation of beloved community. In these times when we cannot be with each other physically, we are called to greater attention and intention in the sharing of our caring. To reach out to each other and invite each other's presence, however it may come. We recognize ourselves as part of an interdependent web of existence, affirming that what touches the life of one of us affects us all. In these moments, we seek to widen our caring ministry by sharing joys and sorrows, concerns and milestones in our own lives and in the lives of the congregation. There are so many dealing with illness in their own lives or the lives of family and loved ones, beyond how we are all dealing with the COVID illness. May we add our healing thoughts and energy. I invite you now to take a moment to name those who you know need that energy. We are dealing with so much uncertainty these days, some with precarious housing and employment, many feeling the pressures and anxiety of these times. A moment to acknowledge this discomfort in our own bodies as well as others. We light this candle of concern for those spoken aloud today, as well as those held in the silence of our hearts. There are joys and milestones in our midst as well. There have been births and celebrations of anniversaries. A special shout out to Lynn Nugent, one of this morning's worship art facilitators. Happy birthday today. One of the greatest joys we have as a community is to welcome newcomers in our midst as well. And every week there are new folks in this virtual sanctuary. We welcome you. And if you like, today is our monthly UU Curious coffee time after the service. So there will be a special link if you wish to join us for that. Let us light a candle of joy for all that has been spoken, the guests among us, and the unspoken joys that we all hold at this time, along with our anxiety. During this time, we also light a candle for the wider world. I call us today to remember that on September 22nd, 1877, Treaty 7 was signed. Let us learn the many lessons of the consequence of that treaty. Recognize the intention originally was to share and care for this territory together. May we acknowledge that we are all treaty people in relationship with each other and with this land. With this, I light our global chalice. You're invited to participate in a responsive reading with Lynn and Mary Anna Louise. Please join whichever person you wish, or just listen.
We need one another when we mourn and would be comforted.
We need one another when we are in trouble and afraid.
We need one another when we are in despair, in temptation, and need to be recalled to our best selves again.
We need one another when we would accomplish some great purpose and cannot do it alone.
We need one another in the hour of success when we would look for someone to share our triumphs.
We need one another in the hour of defeat when with encouragement we might endure and stand again.
We need one another when we come to die and would have gentle hands prepare us for the journey.
All our lives we are in need, and others are in need of us. And now to Deborah.
So many things that this community is for and about. Our theme this month is expectations, and there are many for this year. The intention now is to share at least some of them with you, though you have heard certainly from Sheila already. But some of this is what you might know and some of what you might expect. Knowing that it has been already said that it's very difficult for us to plan beyond the very near future. We are doing our best, the staff and the board. We will share, if you will, as a tapestry, woven together with verses of one of the most beloved hymns in this congregation. So we will sing a verse and then have some sharing and then sing the next verse. And so I invite you to listen to the possibilities and to imagine how you might both participate and contribute. Many hands make light work, and also engaging is so very good for your well-being. To begin our tapestry, verse 1 of We Laugh, We Cry.
We laugh, we cry, we live, we die, we dance, we sing our song. We need to feel there's something here to which we can belong. We need to feel the freedom just to have some time alone. But most of all, we need close friends we can call our very own. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found our need to be together. We have our hearts to give, we have our thoughts to receive, and we believe that sharing is an answer.
Our purpose statement says we come together in beloved community to grow in wisdom, welcome and deepen relationships, and work for a just and sustainable world. In our planning for this year, as every year, your board and staff use this lens. One of the initiatives that the staff have imagined is what we're calling CU, Calgary Unitarian Fridays. Sheila mentioned this, that the third Friday will be popcorn theology movies. There will be something happening every Friday night. And I invite you to make sure you look at your e-news for what's actually happening. And you'll hear more about this as we go through our tapestry. Your board of trustees has had so much added to their plate with all of these adjustments. Be kind to them. Thank them regularly. You have no idea how much they're doing behind the scenes. And I would like to invite a few words from the board president, Jane Eberin.
Good morning. The board has agreed for now that we won't be back in our building for regular services till January 2021 at the earliest, and it could certainly be much longer. While faith communities can now hold small services, all masked, all suitably distanced, there is absolutely no congregational singing allowed. And we all know how much singing together is a part of our spirituality. I mean, just look at the wonderful songs we've had a chance to sing so far in the service this morning. I certainly wouldn't want to give that up. However, the board has agreed to let some small arts groups, such as Calgary Young People's Theatre, Jazz on the Side, Calgary Renaissance Singers and Players, and the Barbara Ellas, rent space from us as long as they adhere to all the AHS guidelines. We will also consider some requests from Unitarians for use of our space, but all such requests should please come first to me for board approval. Slowly and safely, we are starting to re-enter our building. I have been so impressed at how well we have adjusted to having an online congregation, and some very special kudos are due to our amazing staff and our AV team. We couldn't have done it without them. We offer some excellent online events and services, and if you aren't participating in more than our Sunday service, I urge you to consider joining us at Wednesday and Friday coffee hour, or maybe the Wednesday evening social. At every Wednesday coffee hour, there will now be a board member in attendance, but we could use some more numbers here. So why not reach out to some fellow Unitarians and get them to attend these Zoom coffee sessions with us? These smaller group events provide some lovely connection. Plus, why not consider starting some additional online groups? If you and some other Unitarians want to do an online gathering, a book club, movie club, afternoon tea, etc., just ask me to set up a Zoom meeting for you on one of our 2 Zoom licenses. Or consider starting some outdoor activities, like what about a Unitarian walking group? Let's look at how we can build community creatively and safely in these challenging times. And now let's sing verse 2 of We Laugh, We Cry.
A child is born among us, and we feel a special glow. We see time's endless as we watch the baby grow. We thrill to hear imagination freely running wild. We dedicate our minds and hearts to the spirit of this child, and we believe in life and in the strength of love, and we have found a time to be together, and with the grace of age we share the wonder of youth, and we believe that growing is an answer.
The work we do to build a just and sustainable world is at the heart of our congregation. Social justice is a primary motivation for many of us to come to a Unitarian Universalist community. Our Social Justice Committee had just gone through a process of reimagining how we would do this work. And then COVID hit. However, we continue to do our work, and we are primarily doing it in collaboration. And I'm just delighted that Breton Saunders, one of our newer members, is taking a lead with the social justice reimagining, and she's joined by others. You too could join. One of our primary alliances is with the Calgary Alliance for the Common Good. And you will have been seeing a lot of information about the things that they are offering, but also the collaborations that we are doing with them. Green Sanctuary will also be offering a series of movies on our CU Fridays, and you'll need to watch the e-news for which ones are up and coming. Those will happen on the second Friday of the month. This is a time also when anti-racism learning and advocacy is so in the forefront. We have been doing work around our reconciliation awareness and engaging with members of the Indigenous community. Much of this work is also being done with and in collaboration with the Calgary Alliance. And now we are also taking initiative to really address and learn how we might be advocates and allies in anti-racism work. And I'd like for Jocelyn to share a few words about that initiative.
Good morning. I'm going to speak for a few minutes about the Calgary Unitarians Anti-Racism Team, CU ART. We welcome those of you who have joined, and we encourage others to join. This journey is hard, and the rewards are great. Taking care of ourselves along the way is a priority. We will need to bring our love. In the context of anti-racism, this work is done because we believe in something greater than our own gain. We need to bring our truth. By telling our own truth with dignity and depth, we move toward the healing and restored dignity of Black, Indigenous, people of color. We will need to bring our commitment. This work is hard. We will argue against doing this work because it reveals how deeply we have been socialized to be unintentionally racist and unintentionally support white supremacy. We must decide what is going to be the anchor that keeps us committed to this work. Here are some examples. A commitment to anti-oppression and the dignity of BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, and people of color. Our commitment to our own healing. Our commitment to be a better friend or family member to BIPOC. Our commitment to our own personal spiritual values. These are not my words. These are the words of Layla F. Saad, the author of Me and White Supremacy. If you would like to dialogue with us, please join us on Friday evening at 7 for Friday discussions. Drop in CU Art Anti-Racism, How, Who, and Why on October 2nd. And join the White Fragility book study sharing September 23rd at 4:30 p.m. Back to Deborah.
And now, verse 3.
Our lives are full of wonder and our time is very brief. The death of one amongst us fills us all with pain and grief. But as we live, so shall we die, and when our lives are done, the memories we shared with friends, they will linger on, and we believe in life and in the strength of love, and we have found a place to be together. We have the right to grow. We have the gift to believe that peace within our living is an answer.
It happens in many ways in our community. Certainly, our Sunday services hopefully help us to grow in wisdom. And our theme-based listening circles that engage the theme of the month are small groups where we can delve more deeply into the theme. There's many other ways that we come together, and many of them have been mentioned, but there is a very special opportunity that this virtual time has opened up that we're all engaging in to some extent. But I'll let Lynn tell you a little more about that.
Our lives are full of wonder, and our time is very brief. The death of one among us fills us all with pain and grief. We believe in life and the strength of love. This is the human condition. We are sometimes blessed with love, joy, wonder, but we must also find ways to cope with pain and loss. The world's religious traditions have risen out of the human search for meaning in the face of our brief sojourn and all that goes with it. Retired Unitarian Universalist minister Shirley Ann Rank tells us that one of the most important religious tasks of our time has been learning to take pluralism seriously. She says that it's been necessary for each of us to begin to see our own tradition as one way among many, and to understand that no one tradition has all the answers. Ours is a religious tradition that began in the Jewish and Christian faiths, and those of you who tuned in to Marcy Epstein's presentation this summer are now also aware that in our beginnings in Transylvania, we were influenced by Islam as well. Today, we acknowledge the influence of many sources, drawing from the world's religions, humanist teachings, spiritual teachings of earth-centered traditions, just to mention a few. After the listing of our sources are the words, grateful for the religious pluralism which enriches and ennobles our faith. We are inspired to deepen our understanding and expand our vision. We draw upon the world's religious traditions with great respect. Part of respectfully singing songs and reading scripture and poetry from many religious and cultural sources includes, I believe, being conscious of the history and the context of these treasures. This year, I joined Reverend Deborah and Reverend Samaya Oakley of the South Fraser Unitarians. Some of you will remember Samaya from her time here as an intern. And we will be offering an opportunity to gain at least an overview of 9 of the world's religious traditions. Even if you're unable to participate in the sessions, try a spiritual practice designed to connect you in a more personal and reflective way to the tradition of the month. You will find these in our monthly reflection guide in the newsletter, and it will give you an opportunity to lean into another tradition. One service each month, usually the last service, will also focus on the religion of the month. These services will include a reflection that's given by somebody, usually in a leadership position within the tradition. If your interest is piqued and you're not already registered, today is the final day for registration. Now to Jane for the final verse of our song.
We seek elusive answers to the questions of this life. We seek to put an end to all the waste of human strife. We search for truth, equality, and blessed peace of mind. And then we come together here to make sense of what we find. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found our joy being together. And in a search for peace, maybe we'll finally see, even to question truly is an answer.
Our Calgary Unitarians purpose statement says that we welcome and deepen relationships. In part to fulfill this, we have been working towards a covenant of right relations for some time now. It is important work, and it's important that we take time to do it well. The Right Relations team, Leslie Robinson, Reverend Deborah, and myself, has done significant research. We've met with the congregation to gather thoughts and ideas, and we've done some wordsmithing. An initial draft was published in the Quest during this past church year, and we asked the congregation for feedback regarding this first draft.
The short version goes something like this. We recognize that individually and as a community, we are responsible for our intentions, communications, and actions. We work to develop and promote skills and practices that strengthen our relationships and guide our behaviors. We, the Calgary Unitarians, therefore, agree to show each other respect, communicate directly and honestly, participate with trust and commitment, express encouragement and appreciation.
So if you're asking, what is she talking about? I invite you to check the October newsletter for the republished draft of the Covenant of Right Relations. Make yourself familiar with the full content and confirm that you would be willing to make that commitment. Why does it matter? There will be a democratic vote of the congregation at our December meeting. If the congregation votes in favor of adopting this covenant, we will all be responsible together for fulfilling it as we work together as Calgary Unitarians to carry out our purpose statement and our other work. Your input is very important.
On October 9th, Friday evening, from 7 until 8 p.m., with room to continue longer if the group chooses, we will have a Zoom get-together where you can ask questions, share your thoughts. So watch for the notice in the e-news. For now, we invite you to imagine a place where conversations and actions are intentionally respectful and caring. We challenge, we question, so we may understand. We trust and encourage each other, and we forgive mistakes. We share our ideas, fears, and dreams. We welcome new life into the congregation, knowing that they too will be cared for, encouraged, and loved. And when one leaves this life, we can hope to have as few regrets about our relationships as is humanly possible.
Will we be perfect? Hell no. But I know that I'm willing to keep trying if you are. And I will try harder for both of us when you're having a bad day. And I hope that you'll do the same for me if I'm having a bad day. We have important work to do in fulfilling our purpose as Calgary Unitarians, in congregational pursuits, as well as in the community at large and at home. Strong relationships and how we are together will empower us to do that work. Please join us on Friday, October the 9th. Have a conversation with us. Reverend Deborah, do you have anything to add?
The work of right relations and how we are with each other, the job of filling our purpose statement is so much of what we do. And there is within this so very much to be grateful for. Particularly, I would now like to invite Conrad to share how you can concretely express your gratitude.
This religious community exists by its mission, just as a fire exists by burning. But fire cannot burn without fuel. And for us, it is the time, the energy, the imagination, the vision, the creativity, the compassion and the love, and the financial support of the members and friends that fuels our mission to nurture and sustain a welcoming, inclusive, and diverse liberal religious community that transforms lives and serves the world. And so we invite you now to make a financial contribution as you are willing and able. Thank you.
we hope that we have given you a flavor of some of what is going to be happening this year, that we've inspired you to want to look more deeply into the many things that we are going to try and do in our new way of doing things. There is so much new and so many possibilities, expectations to be lived into, and some that will be thwarted. These are times when we must be gracious with one another, when we must really consider what we are doing to build a new way. Let us have our closing song, We Are Building a New Way.
We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hate and greed and jealousy. We are working to be free. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love that is the seed. We can feed our every need. Peace and freedom is our pride. Peace and freedom is our pride. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without peace, this world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry.
We have reached the end of this time for the gathering of memory and for letting the imagination play with future possibilities. A time of exploring explorations, expectations, sharing hopes. We have enjoyed magic moments and edified each other. Shall it be concluded then? Or will this adventure, now commenced, continue? Our separate paths converging, meeting, merging in the unending quest for love more perfect, the joyous struggle for meaning more sufficient and life more abundant. Is this ending to be an ending, or merely prelude to new, more glorious beginnings? What can you bring to its unfolding? I pose the question. In your hearts lies the answer. And now to Reverend Deborah for extinguishing the chalice.
We extinguish the chalice, though we take its light and the warmth of this community with us as we go forward to do our work in the world, connecting with each other, with hopeful expectations, both lived and unmet, but knowing that we are all doing our very best. The chalice is extinguished. A note about the coffee hour to follow. When you exit this virtual sanctuary, a page will appear with the invitation to coffee. Just click on the coffee mug and you will make a cyber transition to coffee hour. Thanks today to Susan Ridley for being the coffee host. If you might be interested in hosting, please contact me as there will be a training this week. Susan will put you in small groups of 4 or 5 people. Please begin by everybody introducing themselves. There may be new people, and some of us just forget names. Please make sure each person has a voice and that they are heard. For those of you wishing to join the UU Curious Coffee Hour, the new or newish folks, you will see a special link on that page. Please join me now in our sung benediction, Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots won't be close. We